9 News Plus weather, sponsored by Carrier Colorado.
Or happy Friday Eve, as I like to call it. We have another exciting or very active weather day in store today, and then a couple more lined up as we go into our Friday and Saturday. Today, though, looking to be the most intense day. A lot of the heavier storms are looking to fall southeast of Denver and into portions of the plains. So we'll get into all of that in just a moment. First, let's go ahead and start with our current conditions right now. We're nice and calm as we await the storm. We have some cloud cover out there, but not a whole lot of activity up in the sky. We have a live look outside. Again, you can see all of that cloud. We had a fog advisory, a dense fog advisory this morning until around 9 o'clock. That has been able to expire, but we're at 66 degrees, and with the dew point at 59 degrees, it's very muggy out there, and fog forms when the dew point hits the temperature. So, and the winds are calm enough. So right now with winds coming down from the north, that's going to help us mix out a little bit. But we do have temperatures pretty mild for this time of year. Our usual highs this time of year are closer to 89 degrees. We'll be maxing out at 80 degrees if we're lucky. So right now, 66 at DIA. Most of the northern portions of the Front Range in the lower to middle 60s. You can see those middle to upper 60s, even 70s further south. A little cooler in Colorado Springs, though. 59 there, 77 down in Trinidad. The high country in the 60s and 70s, already in the middle 80s out west. Yesterday they saw a high of 99 degrees. They're going to have another hot one across the slope. Now, as we take a look at our HD Doppler radar, we had some early morning storms across the plains. Those have moved their way out of Colorado, so we're going to be dry for the first half of our day. We know the drill this time of year. We start off pretty dry, and then midday is where we watch for those storms to push in, and then they really ramp up during the late afternoon, early evening hours. So this is what we're expecting today. We have an enhanced risk for severe weather. That enhanced risk, that's a level 3. We don't see that too often. So this is what we really want to take seriously. And as I mentioned earlier, most of it is going to fall southeast of Denver. Now, this does reach the eastern portions of the Denver metro area. So Aurora, DIA, you really want to be aware as we go through the rest of this afternoon. And then it pushes across the I-70 corridor into central and southern portions of the plains. That's where we're going to expect the most intense storms today. By most intense, I mean we're going to watch for tornado possibilities, heavy downpours, damaging winds, large hail. The slight risk, the level 2, the yellow, that does include the rest of Denver and northern portions of the I-25 corridor, surrounding areas as you move your way into the plains. So we're going to watch for strong storms here as well. These areas maybe have a slightly smaller tornado risk, but we're still going to watch for some hail and strong winds and heavy downpours. And then the smallest risk there is going to be the marginal in green. That's not going to be too large of an area. So the vast majority of us across the Front Range and Eastern Plains are either in enhanced or slight. So that means we're going to watch for very strong storms as we go through the rest of this afternoon. If you're planning out your afternoon, we're going to watch for most of those storms to start to push into Denver around between 2 to 4 o'clock and linger through the early evening hours. And then as you go across the Eastern Plains, those storms are really looking to ramp up around 6, 7 o'clock this evening, all the way into the overnight hours. A western slope having a different story. As we mentioned yesterday, they made it to 99 degrees, another hot day out in store out there. So they're dealing with very dry air and strong winds. So we do have red flag warnings that'll be in effect for central and southern portions of the western slope. These winds gusting between 35 to 40 miles per hour, relative humidity as low as 5 to 10%. That's extremely low. We saw our relative humidity here at DIA, I think close to 80-90%. So this is a stark contrast across the western half of the state. You do want to watch for increased fire weather danger. Let's take a look at our futurecast. This is going to be very important today as we time out these storms. Around 2 o'clock is when we start to see some of those rain showers pop up. We're going to watch for some small storms around 2 o'clock. They become more intense around 4 or 5 o'clock. This is where we're seeing those brighter colors, those larger cell clusters there. And then by this evening, 5, 6, 7 o'clock, this is where those storms really get going. Take a look at how large they are. These storms even have those dark maroon colors in them, which means we're really going to watch for these storms to pack quite a punch. You can see how large this storm is that pushes its way into the eastern plains. This is right along where that enhanced risk is. You can see the storm made its way right from eastern Denver into central and southern portions of the eastern plains. That's right along where we have that enhanced risk. This is where we're going to watch for some pretty strong weather. If you live in any of these areas, again, East Denver through central and southern portions of the plains, the I-70 corridor there, you want to stay weather aware today. I would keep my TV tuned in to local news through this evening. And finally, these storms start to push eastward late tonight and into the overnight hours, but we do have a very active afternoon ahead. Moving into Friday, another day of storms. We don't have any enhanced risk, at least so far, but the slight risk does push into Denver, so we're going to watch for another day with those strong storms, hail, strong winds, locally heavy downpours, lots of lightning and thunder. And then as we go into Saturday, Denver is barely in that marginal risk, but almost all of the Front Range and Eastern Plains in that slight risk again. So the good news is beyond Saturday, we finally get a little bit of a break going into the second half of our weekend and early portions of next week. But in the meantime, we do have several rounds of storms ahead. Today, we're going to see those highs near 80 degrees in Denver, about 9 degrees below our seasonal average for this time of year, so a bit mild. Most of the Front Range will be in the upper 70s to lower 80s. We'll see those lower to middle 80s further southeast. 89 expected at Trinidad. The high country will see 70s and 80s, middle 90s again out west. Overnight, our lows have stayed pretty mild. We're going to be in the middle to upper 50s, right around where we should be this time of year. The high country will be in the 40s and 50s, and then we'll see those low 60s out west. Our 7-day forecast is going to be up and down quite a bit, so we're going to watch for those storms today, Friday, Saturday. Those temperatures will be below average. We're going to watch for a couple more rounds of dry starts to the day and then those afternoon storms to roll in. So if you do have outdoor plans today, Friday, Saturday, you'll want to do them before noon. As we go into the second half of our weekend and into early next week, we do start to dry out and feel more like summer. This is where we're going to have those summertime activities, those pool parties, those playing in the yard with the sprinklers. That's what I did as a kid. So we're going to see a lot of dry air move in. We're going to see sunny skies, those temperatures making it into the low 90s, just a tad bit above average for this time of year. We do have some slight storm chances Monday and Wednesday, but really outside of that, we're going to watch for that summertime weather that everyone has been asking for. Everyone's been saying this rain is nice, but at a certain point, does it become too much? And the answer is yes, once we start to see that flooding. So we will get a nice period to dry on out after these several days of storms. So again, today, I highly suggest staying weather aware. This is definitely an important day as far as weather is concerned. Again, across eastern portions of the Denver metro area and central and southern portions of the eastern plains. So we're going to watch for extremely strong weather there, but that doesn't mean that other areas won't see some storms. That's just where we're watching for the strongest weather today. We will continue to watch for some scattered to isolated storms as we go through the rest of the afternoon and evening across the rest of the Front Range and Eastern Plains as well. So again, another day where you'll want to stay tuned in. I know different authorities have been having issues with Twitter's new rules and getting all of the information that they need. National Weather Service ran into that issue the other day. So make sure that you have a secondary source for your weather news. If you're a Twitter user, maybe try and go to the agency or the station's sites directly to try and stay updated. So outside of that, we will see you here at noon. I'll be doing your forecast at 9 News at noon. And then later this evening at 4 and 5, we'll have Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin. And then later tonight, 6, 9, and 10, I believe we'll have meteorologist Chris Bianchi in for the late shows today. But either way, you'll want to stay tuned and stay aware through the rest of the afternoon. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a good day.